Hello, celestial beings. Has January been a very long month for you, like it's been for me? Are you feeling the shift of Neptune into Aries? How are all of these planets in Aquarius hitting you? And hi, it's me, Mel, aka Pocket Mystic, and I'm on a mission to make mysticism more accessible and supportive through tarot readings, astrological updates, and guided meditations that fit seamlessly into your schedule. So today we're going to be talking about what's happening astrologically in February, and then we're going to do a tarot spread to support you through these changing energies. We're also going to touch on Imbolc and a tiny bit on the year of the horse. I'm going to try to keep this under 15 minutes, no promises, so let's get straight into it. Okay, let's talk about where we are already. Like I said, January has probably felt like a month that was a year, right? We're starting to see so many of those 2026 predictions come true. And we had Neptune move into Aries on January 26th. So if you're noticing a change in your dreams, like me and my friends are, well, that's Neptune, baby. I touched a lot on this in the 2026 forecast and in the January forecast. So I'm not going to go into it so much here, but just as a reminder, Neptune rules our dreams, illusions, spirituality, and creativity, and it was in dreamy, spiritual, creative Pisces. And that cycle, we basically question what reality even is. Is it online? Is it real life? Is it AI? Hello? We don't know. But now it's moving into Aries. So we'll collectively be questioning our sense of identity, what identity even means, and initiating ourselves into something new. That's going to be at the collective level. But I think one way to really reflect on what this 14-year cycle, that's right, it's going to be there till I think 2039. To reflect on what it's going to mean to you is to understand where Aries is in your chart. And there's going to be a lot going on with Aries. So if you drop which house Aries is in your chart or what your rising sign is in the comments within the first week of this video, I will give you a more personalized insight into this, both for Neptune and then also for Saturn. Okay, so the other elephant in the room that you'll already be feeling coming into February is all of these personal planets teamed up with Pluto, planet of the underworld, underground power, secrets in Aquarius. Now, Pluto will be in Aquarius for a long time. It has been there, but right now it's interacting with every single one of our personal planets. The Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus. It is a party in Aquarius with Pluto hanging out. And that means that we've likely had some big reveals and aha moments, unlocks happening to us in the way we communicate, in how we think about ourselves, in what we value and in what we love, because Pluto is there to kind of, disrupt and reveal those secrets. And with that, let's get into February. So February carries a very different energy from January. January was a lot about truth telling and clearing weight. But February is about reorienting toward the future. And this month is going to ask, what kind of world do we want to live in? And what kind of life do I want to build? And this month starts off strong right out of the gate. February 1st, we have the full moon in Leo. It's a full snow moon. And we also have Imbolc. And Imbolc is when we hit the halfway point between winter and spring. So it's when we really start to feel the light returning and see life coming awake again. We start to see some flowers coming awake. We start to see some animals coming out of hibernation. But on the other side of this, we have the full moon, which is when the light of the moon starts waning, starts becoming less. So this is a really interesting and beautiful time of juxtaposition and paradox. It's a time of looking at what is waking up in you and what needs to be released. This is also an important full moon because it's in Leo, and we're going to start interacting with a new eclipse series this year on the Leo and Aquarius axis. So this full moon is going to be giving you like a sneak peek, little insights into what to be expect to be highlighted in your life during the new eclipse portals. And this full moon is in Leo, baby. Our bold, fiery, creative Leo. What have you been observing in January that is keeping you back, holding you down, that is keeping you from being the bold, brilliant, beautiful self you're going to be in 2026? Because 2026 is the year to be bold, as we've said, we're going to keep saying. So whatever it is, work with this new moon to release it. Then on February 6th, we have Mercury being the first of the personal planets to move out of Aquarius and into Pisces. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication and ideas and technology, and it doesn't do its best in watery Pisces. But it can help to soften some of our communication and interactions from what they've been for the past few months. So wouldn't that be nice? Now then, February 10th, Venus joins Mercury in Pisces. This further helps to soften some of the edge around our relationships, but it might also kind of take on a sort of surreal quality. Things might feel more murky and unclear, and we might find ourselves sort of questioning what we value during this time. It feels a little bit more like up in the air and less solid. Then February 13th, we see Saturn move into Aries. So Saturn, the ruler of boundaries and limitations, has been in watery Pisces. Saturn doesn't love being in Pisces, but it is in its fall in Aries. So it has a hard time here. Aries is about initiation. It's about charging ahead. It's about moving forward when you don't have a fully figured out plan, but you know action is the way to go. And Saturn is about being calculated and about building things that last. That's why these two entities don't do great together. But what I want you to think about is, where will Saturn be lighting up your chart in this move? Again, if you want to drop which house Aries occupies for you or your rising sign in the comments, I can share more about that, give you a more individual insight. But this area of your life is going to be challenged during this period. Whenever Saturn is in a sign, that area in your chart is challenged. And it will be here until April 2028. So it would be helpful to understand what to expect. And again, ultimately, Saturn is helping us to sort of understand where our limitations might be and where we'd like to expand them. So it's not all bad, but it doesn't always feel great. And the positive news is, wherever Pisces is in your chart, that's going to get a break from some of this pressure finally. Now, you can also think back to what was being challenged in your life from May 24th to September 1st of last year, because Saturn did its little dip into Aries then. Now, this is a full month, and it just keeps going. So let's talk about February 17th. So first of all, on this day, we are launching into the year of the horse. All right, we say goodbye to the year of the snake, goodbye to the shedding, and we move into a year of action. And remember with this, we are either pushing forward or we are being dragged. Either way, we're moving, and it's a year of fast movement. And also on this day, well, guess what? We have the first eclipse of the year, February 17th. Prepare for that to be like, whoa. I mean, take the time off if you can. It's a Tuesday. I'm already like, okay, how can I take that day off? Give yourself some space. But anyways, we start this new eclipse cycle. And I will do a separate video on this, so I'm not going to get too deep into it here. But the thing is, we have our new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius. And we're not totally saying goodbye to the Pisces-Virgo axis just yet, so there's still more to wrap up there. But this is going to be highlighting and probably rocking new areas of your life. It's going to also be bringing up questions of what seeds do we want to plant for the benefit of the collective. Again, I'll share more in a later video. Now, the sun will move out of Aquarius and into Pisces on February 18th, leaving Mars as the only personal planet in Aquarius with Pluto until March 2nd. Then the event you're probably sick of hearing about, we have Saturn making an exact conjunction to Neptune in Aries, the first degree of Aries, 0 degrees of Aries, on February 20th. The last time we had this was in 1989, i.e. when the Berlin Wall fell, baby. Goodbye, good riddance. Now, what I want to say is that this energy is already going to be taking off on the 13th when Saturn enters Aries. But we should expect a massive crescendo on this day. When Saturn last met Neptune, they were in Capricorn, which of course is an earth sign ruled by Saturn and about literal boundaries. And while we might see shifts in literal boundaries, again, I mean, we're already seeing hints and rumors about that. It could also be about dissolving existing identities and ideologies. Like, how do we see ourselves? Do we see ourselves as people that belong to countries? Do we see ourselves as red and blue? Expect to see some shifts here. And either way, we're going to see history made with this transit, right? We always do. And again, please take time to look at where Aries is in your chart. Because starting in April, we will have 7 planets all in Aries, which is quite a rare and powerful time. And something in your life is going to be majorly initiated. So it's going to help you feel prepared and not rocked if you know what that's going to be. Now, cherry on top, we have Mercury going into retrograde in Pisces on February 26th. So with all this mega dissolving energy, then we get lots of communication mishaps. Woo! Beware of your tech around water. And anyway, we have all of these big shifts in the tiny little shortest month of the year of February. So let's summarize our themes here and then get to a tarot spread to help support us during this time. I have 2.5 minutes. Let's go. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Major themes. So like I said, identity reorientation with Neptune and Saturn and Aries. Who am I becoming and what version of me is dissolving? This will happen to us both individually and at a collective level. So it's about identity, leadership, self-definition, and courage versus confusion. And then we're also going to be kind of feeling this tension of the heart versus the hive mind. We have the Leo full moon, and then the Aquarius pile up. And then, of course, we are starting this new eclipse portal, which is on the Leo-Aquarius axis. So am I living from my heart or from the collective script? How is what's in my heart supporting the collective? This is about visibility, authenticity, and belonging while maintaining individuality. And it's about creative courage. And then also this is about softening before the leap. We have Mercury and Venus moving into Pisces. Can I let myself feel before I decide? This is about emotional fog, compassion, unclear values, and intuitive navigation. We're going to be moving into a lot of Pisces, of course, when we get to March, and then April is going to be wild. So as much as we can kind of enjoy this softness and compassion of Pisces and let it soften us before we start to take action, that's going to be really helpful. And we already are seeing this here in February. And then it's about destiny in motion. We've got the eclipse. We've got the year of the horse. What future am I helping initiate? It's about karmic beginnings. It's about collective intention, momentum, being moved rather than choosing comfort. And with all of that, let's do a tarot spread. So I'll do this for the collective, but you can pull this for yourself. So for card 1, we'll have what is dissolving in my identity, What part of how I've been defining myself is ready to fade? This speaks to old labels, outdated roles, false confidence, or false humility. And then for card 2, we have what wants to be expressed from the heart. What truth or creativity wants to come out of hiding? This ties to our boldness. We're being bold, right? Our courage, our self-expression, and our visibility. And then for card 3, where do I need to soften or listen more deeply? Where am I being asked to feel instead of decide? This is going to support relationship fog, unclear values, emotional navigation, and intuition over logic. And then card 4, the seed that is being planted in the eclipse. So, what new or future collective path is opening up for me? This connects to destiny, future timelines, new social or life direction, contribution to the whole. And this is going to be important because we do have Pluto in Aquarius. So this is going to continue to be a theme. And then card 5, how to move forward with courage. What discipline, boundary, or action will support me now? This will ground Saturn in Aries, movement, responsibility, and leadership. Okay, so let me pull the cards. Okay, juicy. For card 1, what is dissolving in my identity and our collective identity? We have the 5 of Cups. So what is dissolving is any part of our identity, be it collective or at the individual level, that is shaped by loss, regret, or disappointment. The 5 of Cups shows us someone focused on what didn't work, what was taken, or what hurt, even though we still have cups standing behind them. So part of how we've been defining ourselves has been tied to what we lost, what failed, what never became what we hoped it would be. And so Neptune and Aries is going to start dissolving that story. And I think this is really interesting. Well, anyway, okay, I won't get into that. Maybe I'll talk about this later. I'm already over time. But how, as a collective identity, have we defined ourselves by those things? Have we said, you know what, this is never going to happen to me again, and I'm going to become this way? So that story is being dissolved, and we are being asked to release the version of ourselves who says, this is who I am because of what went wrong. February says your grief was real, it was, but it doesn't need to be your identity anymore. You are ready to shed it. And then card 2, what wants to be expressed from the heart? We have Page of Pentacles. So from the heart, something small but sincere and concrete wants to be born. The page is just so innocent and wholesome and earnest. And the Page of Pentacles is not flashy Leo energy. It is humble courage. It says what wants to be expressed now is a new commitment, a new path, a new way of valuing ourselves. Okay, right? We've got Venus and Pisces, and a new beginning that feels practical and possible. This is the heart saying, I'm ready to try again, but differently. It's not dramatic, it's not impulsive, it's intentional. And then card 3, where do I need to soften or listen more deeply? We have the 5 of Swords, some 5 energy here. Okay, this card is such a mirror for February. The 5 of Swords shows us mental battles, defensiveness, and needing to win, needing to be right. It tells us that we need to soften around this need to win, to be right, to protect ourselves through conflict, to stay in arguments longer than necessary, to prove instead of understanding. This is really about disarming our minds so our hearts can be heard. How much of the time is our conflict just out of fear, that we're not going to be taken care of, that we're not going to be heard. So this is really about disarming the mind here. And then card 4, we have the seeds the eclipse is planting. So we have the King of Pentacles. Hell yes. This is big. The seed that's being planted is long-term stability and sovereignty, which is so interesting with Saturn, Neptune here in Aries. But anyway, the King of Pentacles is someone who builds slowly, invests wisely, creates safety for others and themselves, and doesn't panic at change. This eclipse is going to be planting a future where we trust our ability to provide for ourselves. We lead with grounded authority. We stop scrambling and start stewarding. This is a seed of self-mastery in the material world, and that lines up so much with the human design shift of 2027, which I talk about in the 2026 forecast, so I won't talk about here. But anyways, card 5, how to move forward with courage. Death. Here is the medicine. Death says, courage looks like ending something cleanly, not dragging it out, not half letting it go, not pretending it still fits. With the Saturn, Neptune, and eclipse energy, this is about choosing a true ending of something, letting an identity truly die, not putting it back in the closet in case you want to put it on another time. Okay? It's about releasing a role, pattern, or attachment. Death says don't negotiate over what's already over. That's just more painful for everyone around, right? Transformation is the discipline. Release is the action. This is how we move forward. So, sorry I am over time, but it's self-imposed. Anyway, so the story February is telling us is an old identity built on loss, built on fear, built on never again, is dissolving. A new humble beginning wants to be honored. The Page of Pentacles is at the beginning of building something great. We are also being asked to soften our mental battles and stop needing to win with 5 of Swords. How much energy are we putting to that versus building something like with this Page of Pentacles? A future of grounded self-trust is being seeded with the King of Pentacles. I'm so excited about that. Hell yeah. And the way forward is through real endings, really letting something die. Otherwise, it's taking up so much of our mental energy, right? So this is going to be a big month. It's going to feel chaotic. It's going to feel like so much is going on, both collectively and probably for you personally. I mean, eclipses are always personally rocking us, right? But I really, once again, want us to believe in the good of what could be, in the collective, and how things are changing, dynamics are changing. I mean, a year from now, we're going to live in a whole new world. And I like to believe that it's going to be a better one than we live in now. Please God, please stars, please universe, please whatever entity, it must be better, right? Okay. So February is asking us to stop defining ourselves by what we lost, soften the need to defend our position, and allow something steadier and more rooted to take shape. This is not the end of a story. It is the end of a chapter that's made room for the next one. Please, 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 please be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Take time off where you can. I wish February to spark so many great new beginnings for you, both personally and collectively. I am rooting for you. The universe is rooting for you. Again, if you want to understand more about Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries, please drop your rising sign or which house it is in, and I will give you a more personalized review, and I'll see you throughout the month. We have plenty of new tarot embodiment videos coming up, and we'll get deeper into this eclipse. Okay, I'll see you soon.